let me just link up here. Okay, that's not working. Let me see if I can link up here. I'm trying to link up on my iPad so that I can read your questions when you post them. And like I said, this is all something new, so okay, I think we're here. It's loading. All right, but I'm upside down. Here we go. Now I can read what you guys are posting. Let me see if I can mute it though. It's gonna drive me nuts. Okay, so we're all set. Hi, sorry about that. So we are ready to start our ice dyeing. Did you all soak your fiber or yarn in your acid baths and get you the colors that you chose from your inspiration photos together so that they're all in? Right here's mine. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. Those are all my colors that I talked with you earlier about. I did make some differences and some changes with it, mostly with the corals, oranges, but the blues and grays worked really, really well together. And I'm going to show you this. This is what I always do when I'm trying out colors, is I mix them up. I'll put them on a paper towel and let them dry so that I can see actually what they're going to dry like in what consistency type. So you can see here that I started with, I put a little bit of the gray down, some of the blue to make sure it was the same color that I wanted, the same tone. I've got about 10 colors of blue, so I wanted to make sure it was the right one. And you can see here, it's kind of that stormy gray blue, exactly what I was looking for. The ratio that I used for it was pretty much a lot of the silver gray and a little bit of blue just to give it that blue effect. So that one's done. The brown was easy. I knew I just wanted a little tiny bit of a tan. So this is the blue. Just for fun I added, or brown, sorry. Just for fun I added a little bit of yellow to see what it did, but I really didn't want it, so I just stuck with this. Magic carpet. What's big in girls' hair? The blues? Oh, the gray blue one? Yeah, that is, and it's pretty too. And then over here was the 4 colors that I talked to you about. The pink, the persimmon, the pumpkin orange, and the salmon. So those were the 4 that I wanted to see what they were really like. Down here you can see I did some mixes of them. Didn't like them. That's why they're all crossed out. It didn't have the same depth and effect and the richness and the brightness of the color that I wanted. So I decided to just stick with the persimmon and then a little bit of the salmon. They were pretty much the exact color of the photograph I wanted. Why mess with it? So that's what I did there. Here you can see the silver and the blue that I mixed together. Can't really see what it's going to end up looking like, but it when I got it wet and dyed or put it on the paper towel, then you could see it. And if my daughter stands behind my husband making faces anymore, I will actually have him turn the camera on her. So that's where I started. So what I decided to do, and you can, let me just check my notes. Oh, one thing I wanted to tell you to do is with all of your colors, learn what your colors are. When you get them, do what I did. Little drop of water, little bit of dye. Keep this, label it. It lets you know and see samples. Another thing you can do is take little samples of fiber and put it in the colors. That way you know when you want to mix colors or get a little more richness or get a little more orange out of something, you know what to use to mix it. So, okay. So looking in here, I already have dyed my, had the fiber in the acid bath, wrung it out just gently, and now I've got it in my electric roaster, as you can see. I really, really opened it up, spread it out, because I don't want to worry about the dye not getting to the bottom of it. So I wanted to really spread it out. So now we're going to go ahead and dye. And the first thing you want to do is take your ice, and you're going to cover up all the yarn. And I do it pretty much so that you can't really see the yarn. If you guys are liking this, you can hit the button on the bottom corner and let me know you're loving it. There you go. I might add a little bit more here. I just like to not see much yarn or fiber left open. It just works better for me that way. Jody, Kieran's hearing me? That's cool. Now when I go to put the dyes in, I always start with the colors I want to really pop, because it's easier to work with the brightest colors, the things I want to, like I said, really pop, and then kind of fill in with the background. So I'm going to start with the persimmon. You can see that the Dharma persimmon. And instead of mixing up the persimmon and the salmon, I decided I'm just going to use, the persimmon was what I really, really loved. So I'm going to use that mostly. And I've already decided where I want the spots of color to be. I've planned this yarn out in my head. So, yes, this is yarn I'm dyeing. It's Merino and Stellina. And yeah, it's safe to do with kids. It's a lot of fun. Kids love being able to spread the color about. So, and you'll notice I don't do it really, really heavy. I just do a light, that one got a little heavy, but a little light layer. So that's all I'll do with the persimmon. And now the salmon is not going to be much. It's just going to be a little bit darker in order to add some depth to it. And just kind of like, you'll see, it doesn't fall. Like, I don't want it mixed in. I just want it to, when it melts, to add some depth of color. Yeah, I'm not a mask or glove girl. I have gloves. If I'm going to be touching the dyes, if my hands are going to be in the dyes at all, I will use the gloves. As far as masks, I never use them. I don't hold it near my face. Probably not, I don't know. There's a lot of different thoughts on that, but probably not the smartest, but I haven't had any problem. If I had it near my face a lot, then I'd be more concerned. Then, find the brown. Now the brown, I really, really, really only want just a little touch of it. So I'm going to base it just off the edges. You can see just the tiniest bit. And I kind of do it off the edges. I don't want it to be huge. I don't want it to be the focal point. And then I'll wipe this off. The ice kind of controls how the dye hits the Kitty LaFleur, how it hits the fiber. It doesn't go directly onto the yarn or the fiber. What it does is, as it melts, it kind of blends and is a very watercolor effect. Yes, it worked with over dyeing. So now, if you look down here at the pot, you'll see there's a lot of blank space. I'm not going to fill it 100% in because I want to leave room when the fibers or the dye, the ice melts and the fibers blend. Sorry, I was just reading that. Yes, I should put a disclaimer in. The best thing to do is to wear masks and gloves. I'm not going to tell anyone yes, no, don't do it, but proven it is better. So here's where I'm going to add the gray blue, and it's going to pretty much fill in, but you'll see I'm still leaving space in between the orange and the brown and the gray blue, because I want to leave room for it to blend but not become muddy. And that's pretty much it. I mean, if you see a blank space where you think a little bit would look good, put a little bit there, but you want to definitely leave room for the dyes to spread out and blend. So, or Kool-Aid, yes, or food dyes or whatever, you know, you guys are using. So that's that. I set it going at 250. That's the temperature I like. And I'll put the top on it. And over here, honey, you will see, I've already had some going so you can see what it looks like. Yeah, the puppies are grumbling and growling. So go right down in that so they can see. This has been going now for just about an hour. The ice is all melted. I have not touched this. And I love it. I love how the gray blue stands out, but it kind of, with the brown between it, it kind of moves in together. Yes, it's like a cooking show. That's how I planned it. I don't like a lot of dead air. Yes, all of my equipment is dye dedicated, and that's recommended with the acid dyes. Have everything that you're using with acid dyes be only for acid dyes. So this, the amount of dye you'd use on an ice bath, very, very little. Not even, this is a baby spoon. Show that, honey. This is a baby spoon. And when I did the gray blues, it was maybe a half of that for the whole thing. The coral, I wanted that a little more prominent, so it was a little bit more, but it wasn't more than one of these. So back to here. I have not touched this. Now they're going to start. Because I don't want to muddy up the colors. And like I said, it's been in here for about an hour, so I'm going to see how well it's exhausted. And I've never really had this exhaust like 100%. But when I'm doing this, I'm not seeing it horrible. And I know where I put a little bit of extra dye on it. I probably honestly would leave this go for another 20 minutes just to make me happy, because I haven't dyed this yarn base before. So I just want to make sure. Like I said, it's been going an hour. The absolutely only thing I will do when I'm doing this, because I've already spread it out enough so that I know the dye is going to get to the bottom layer. If I have a question about it, the only thing I'll do is pick up one corner and pull it back a little bit, and you can see the dye is all the way through. Good gauge for if it's exhausted. If you put a spoon in and it's significantly light or clear, then it's exhausted. And yes, this is still on at 250 degrees. The only other thing I would do is if I saw like a white spot, I don't see any really white spots, this is the lightest spot here, is I would just kind of push it down gently. And like I know there's a bunch of dye here, I might just work it that way a little bit so it gets a little bit darker. So that's about it. When I feel that's exhausted enough that I'm happy with it, I would simply take it out, set it aside, well, first turn it off and leave it for about a half an hour to cool down. Then I would take the yarn out and set it aside till it cooled down to room temperature. And then I would use lukewarm water, pretty much the same temperature as the yarn, and a little bit of Synthropol. No, I didn't put it on a rack. I have water underneath the liners, and that protects it. And then the ice, when it melts, you know, helps with that. So I don't put it on a liner or on a rack. That's about it. Oh, when I rinse it out, I rinse it a couple times. Then I use a little bit of Synthropol, just a little tiny bit, to give it a final wash. It helps collect the dye particles so that there's no running, and then I rinse till nothing else is there. I don't know, does anybody have any other questions? I don't see any, so that's about it. Thank you guys. This was really great. Oh, what are the liners called? I got them off eBay. They're electric turkey roaster liners, and get them for the quart roaster ovens you have. These are both 18 quarts, and the liners I believe are called 18 to 22 quarts. So thank you guys so much. I'm excited. This is just the first in what I really hope is going to be quite a series. So have a good night. Bye. Did you stop it?